Normally, the ITV building buzzed with energy by 7 a.m., producers shouting over coffee machines, presenters laughing in makeup chairs, cameras gliding across studio floors. But that morning, something felt off. A stillness lingered in the air, as if the building itself was holding its breath. Ben Shephard sat alone in his dressing room, staring at his reflection. For years, that mirror had shown him the same man, cheerful, energetic, always ready with a smile and a reassuring word for nervous guests. Today, though, the man looking back seemed different, older, tired, fragile. On the table beside him lay a thin folder from the hospital. Inside it were the words that had shattered his world just 3 days earlier: cancer. It had started with something small, persistent chest pain and unusual fatigue. Ben had brushed it off at first. Long hours, stress, too much coffee. He was in his 50s now. Aches came with the territory. But the pain didn't go away. One evening, after struggling to finish a simple jog he'd done 1,000 times before, he finally agreed to see a doctor. A few scans, blood tests, then more scans, and then the meeting. The consultant had spoken gently, professionally, but the words still hit like a hammer. "There's a tumor near your heart. It's malignant." Ben remembered nodding, even smiling politely, as if the doctor had just given him the weather forecast. Inside, his thoughts were screaming, "Near my heart? Cancer? This can't be real." But it was real. Terrifyingly real. The hardest part wasn't the diagnosis itself, it was telling his family. That evening, Ben sat at the kitchen table with his wife Annie and their 2 sons. The smell of dinner filled the room, but no one was hungry. "Is something wrong?" Annie asked, immediately sensing it. Ben took a deep breath. "I've been to the doctor." Silence. He explained everything slowly. The scans, the tests, the word he still couldn't say out loud without feeling numb. Cancer. Annie's face went pale. One of the boys stared at the table. The other asked quietly, "Are you going to die?" Ben's throat tightened. "I don't know," he said honestly, "but I'm going to fight." Annie reached for his hand, gripping it so tightly her knuckles turned white. "We'll fight together," she said, and for the first time since the diagnosis, Ben felt something other than fear. He felt love. The next challenge was work. Ben had built his life around television, early mornings, live broadcasts, millions of viewers who felt like old friends. But now he had to tell the people who depended on him. The meeting with ITV executives was emotional. No cameras, no scripts, just real faces. "We'll support you," one of them said immediately. "Take whatever time you need." Ben nodded, grateful, but also terrified. For the first time in decades, his future wasn't scheduled. No show, no studio, just hospitals and uncertainty. When the fictional news broke, it spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed, "Ben Shephard diagnosed with cancer." ITV star faces battle. TV presenter reveals shocking illness. Social media flooded with messages. "You've been part of my mornings for 20 years. Stay strong, Ben. If anyone can beat this, it's you." Sending love from across the world. Ben sat at home scrolling through thousands of comments, tears blurring his vision. He'd always thought of fame as something superficial, but now he realized something deeper. These people weren't just viewers, they were family. Chemotherapy began in early spring. The hospital smelled of disinfectant and fear. Ben tried to joke with the nurses, as he always did, but it was harder now. The machines beeped softly around him, dripping medicine into his veins. At first, he felt fine. Then came the nausea, the exhaustion, the hair loss.
One morning, Ben caught sight of himself in the mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. His face was thinner, his eyes darker, his once famous energy replaced by a quiet, aching stillness. Annie shaved his head for him. They laughed about it, made jokes about him finally trying a new look, but when she thought he wasn't looking, she cried. So did he. At night, when the house was silent, fear crept in. Not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind, the kind that whispered, "What if this doesn't work? What if this is how it ends? What if my children grow up without me?" Ben lay awake, listening to his own heartbeat, terrified that one day it might simply stop. Cancer near the heart felt cruelly symbolic, as if the disease wasn't just attacking his body, but everything he loved. Halfway through treatment, Ben recorded a short video message for fans. No makeup, no studio lighting, just him in his living room. "Hello, everyone. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to say. I'm facing cancer. It's been a shock, and I won't pretend I'm not scared, but I'm hopeful, and I'm grateful for my family, my friends, and all of you." His voice cracked. "I'll be back, I promise, but for now, I need to focus on getting better."